There comes a moment in your life when the things you used to tolerate suddenly feel unbearable. The conversations that once entertained you now drain you. The routines that once felt normal now feel like a prison. You look at your life and something inside whispers, I can't keep living like this. This discomfort isn't a failure. It's not burnout. It's not confusion. It is awakening. The first undeniable sign that your identity is shifting, your standards are rising, and the man you were never meant to remain is finally dying. Before you read any further, I want you to do one thing. Decide to pay attention. Because if the signs in this message match the changes happening inside you, then you are not lost. You are not behind. You are being invited into a path reserved for the committed, the path of wealth, discipline, clarity, and destiny. The first sign that you are entering the path to wealth is the rising intolerance for mediocrity. Where you once accepted the minimum, now it feels suffocating. Where you once entertained distractions, now they feel like poison. Where you once floated through your days, now you feel the weight of every wasted hour. This is not negativity. This is identity evolution. Your mind is rejecting what no longer aligns with who you are becoming. You no longer crave comfort. You crave clarity. You no longer chase escape. You chase excellence. You no longer settle for survival. You choose standards. Every wealthy man I've ever studied shared this exact moment, the internal breaking point where average becomes unbearable. This discomfort is sacred. It is the fire that burns away the old self so the new one can rise. If you feel this growing tension, understand this truth. You're not frustrated with life. You're outgrowing the version of you that wasn't built for the future you're stepping into. The second sign that you are walking the path to wealth is a radical shift in the way you treat your time. You begin guarding it like treasure. You stop giving it away to people who drain you, to tasks that distract you, to habits that weaken you. This is when you realize that time is not something you spend. Time is something you invest. And every hour becomes a brick in the construction of your future. Most people trade time for comfort. The wealthy invest time for direction. You say no more often now, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. You understand that every no to distraction is a yes to destiny. You feel allergic to small talk, idle scrolling, purposeless entertainment. Your attention becomes sacred. Your focus becomes currency. This shift is not accidental. It's architectural. You are building the internal structure required for abundance. Because wealth does not flow to the scattered. Wealth flows to the intentional. Be honest with yourself for a moment. Have you noticed that the things you used to tolerate now irritate you instantly? The gossip you once listened to now feels childish. The people you once entertained now feel draining. The habits you once excused now feel unacceptable. It's almost as if your soul is saying, I can't afford this anymore. This is not anger. It's not moodiness. It is energy awakening. The moment your internal frequency rises higher than the environments and behaviors that once held you down. You're becoming sensitive, not in weakness, but in awareness. Your nervous system now rejects anything that lowers your vibration. Unnecessary drama, mindless scrolling, emotional parasites, low-value conversations, environments with no growth. Your focus sharpens. Your attention becomes currency. You feel a pull towards silence, strategy, and self-reflection. This is what happens when a man transitions from consumer to creator, from distraction-driven to destiny-driven. For the first time, you realize that energy is wealth, attention is wealth, clarity is wealth, and anything that steals those things steals your future. When this shift happens, you begin protecting your mental space the same way wealthy men protect their assets. Ruthlessly, unapologetically, intentionally. If this describes what's happening inside you, it isn't random. It's confirmation. It means you are stepping into a higher identity where every ounce of energy must be invested, not wasted. If this resonates with you right now, comment so 8. Because awareness is the first doorway to abundance, and sensitivity to wasted energy is the sign that you are finally ready for more. One of the clearest signs that you are entering the path to wealth is the shift from impulse thinking to long-term strategy. You no longer chase quick wins. You no longer make decisions based on mood or validation. You start thinking in years, not days. Where most people ask, how does this make me feel right now? You ask, how will this pay me in 5 years? This single question separates the wealthy from the hopeful. You begin building systems, creating structure, developing habits that compound quietly in the background. Your mornings become intentional. Your routines become strategic. Your goals become architectural. You stop looking for shortcuts because you finally understand the truth. Speed fades. Momentum builds. And momentum only comes to the man who chooses consistency over emotion. This long-term mindset is the moment you stop living at the level of your circumstances and start living at the level of your calling. Most people keep resetting their life every few weeks. You're building a decade. And that is the mindset of a wealthy man. Another undeniable sign that you're stepping into the path to wealth is the transformation in how you see money. Where you once feared it, now you respect it. Where you once chased it, now you attract it. Where you once treated it emotionally, now you treat it strategically. You stop seeing money as a savior. You start seeing money as a servant, a tool that amplifies who you already are. Instead of trading hours for dollars, you begin creating value that multiplies without your presence. You think in terms of leverage, not labor, systems, not struggle, multiplication, not exhaustion. You stop asking, how do I earn more? And start asking, how do I create something that pays me even when I'm not there? This is the moment wealth consciousness takes root. Poor minds cling to money. Wealthy minds direct it. They make every dollar a soldier, every investment a message, every decision a vote for the man they are becoming. When your relationship with money matures, your reality follows. Because wealth doesn't appear when you work harder, it appears when you think differently. Let me ask you something brutally honest. Have you noticed that you've stopped negotiating with yourself? Stopped delaying? Stopped begging for motivation? Stopped waiting for the right moment? As if something inside you finally snapped and said, enough, it's time. This is not discipline, as the world understands it. This is identity discipline, the moment when doing the hard thing feels more natural than avoiding it. You start waking up earlier without a fight. You execute even when tired. You finish what you said you would finish, not because someone is watching, but because you refuse to betray the man you are becoming. This is the shift every wealthy man goes through. Work stops being a grind. It becomes a gateway, a ritual, a sharpening of your character. Your mind begins to love structure. Your calendar becomes intentional. Your habits become sacred. Your environment becomes optimized. You no longer need adrenaline. You don't rely on hype. You rely on standards. Here's the truth. Discipline is the container of wealth. Without discipline, abundance leaks. Without structure, opportunity slips. Without consistency, potential dies. But when discipline becomes instinct, everything changes. Your energy stabilizes, your standards rise, your results compound, your future accelerates. And this is exactly why you're feeling different. You're no longer forcing discipline, you're embodying it. It's not something you do, it's something you are. If this resonates, even slightly, if you feel this shift happening inside you, comment "So 8" right now. Because people who comment aren't seeking discipline, they are confirming it has already begun. Another powerful sign that you're stepping onto the path to wealth is this. You stop chasing 100 different ideas, and you start building one thing with depth. You no longer crave the thrill of new. You crave the solidity of mastery. You want roots, not noise. You want structure, not stimulation. Where others jump from trend to trend, you dig deeper into your craft, your mission, your system. You understand that greatness is never created by scattered effort. It is built by focused repetition. You stop asking, what's the next opportunity? And start asking, how do I build this into something unshakable? This is the mindset shift from hustler to architect. Your work becomes intentional. Your skills become sharper. Your decisions become strategic. You begin designing, not reacting. And the moment you start thinking like a builder, not a wanderer, not a dabbler, not a drifter, your life begins to gain direction, stability, and compound value. Because wealth is never created by people who try everything. It is created by people who build something. Another sign you're entering the path to wealth is the transformation of your emotional world. Where you once reacted instantly, now you respond intentionally. Where you once panicked, now you pause. Where you once internalized everything, now you interpret everything. Most people make decisions from emotion. Wealthy minds make decisions from principle. You begin to see your emotions not as obstacles, but as information. Fear becomes a signal. Anger becomes data. Doubt becomes a mirror. Stress becomes instruction. This shift is powerful because emotional control is strategic control. The man who can regulate his inner world can lead his outer world. He becomes unshakable, harder to manipulate, and impossible to derail. You realize that success doesn't belong to the strongest. It belongs to the most stable. The one who can hold his center while others collapse. The one who can think clearly when others drown in impulse. The one who acts based on vision, not pressure. When your emotions stop leading you and you start leading them, you become the kind of man wealth can trust. Another undeniable sign that you are entering the path to wealth is this simple but life-altering shift. You stop consuming and you start multiplying. Where you once chased stimulation, videos, gossip, noise, trends, you now chase leverage. You understand that wealthy minds don't ask, "How do I get more?" They ask, "How do I multiply what I already have?" You begin multiplying your time by building systems, effort by creating structure, skills by practicing deliberately, value by thinking long-term, impact by focusing deeply, money by making it work without you. You stop spending energy on activities that die the moment you stop. You invest energy in actions that compound, even when you're sleeping. This is where you shift from being a participant to being a producer, from being a follower to being a founder, from being a consumer of value to becoming a creator of wealth. And here's the truth. Most people never escape the consumption loop. But the moment you start thinking in terms of multiplication, not escape, you step into the realm of men who build legacies, not moments. One of the most powerful signs that you're stepping onto the path to wealth is your new relationship with silence. Where you once feared being alone, now you seek it. Where you once needed noise, now you crave clarity. Where you once filled every moment with distraction, now you create space for thinking, planning, and vision. Silence becomes your workshop, your training ground, your strategy room. Most people fear silence because silence forces them to face themselves. But you don't run from yourself anymore. You study yourself. You refine. You adjust. You sharpen. In the quiet, your future becomes visible. Your standards rise. Your intentions solidify. Your identity strengthens. You begin to realize that solitude is not loneliness. It is alignment. It is the moment when noise fades and purpose speaks. Every wealthy man has a place where he withdraws to think, design, and build internally before he builds externally. And now, you have yours. When a man becomes comfortable in his own silence, he becomes unstoppable in his purpose. If you recognized yourself in these signs, then understand this. You're not just improving your habits, you're evolving into a new identity. You're no longer the man who hesitates, reacts, or drifts. You're becoming the man who builds, who leads, who decides. Wealth is no longer something you chase. It's something you're aligning with, something your discipline is calling in, something your new standards are already attracting. This path isn't crowded because it's not meant for everyone. It's meant for the committed, the self-directed, the man who refuses to return to the weaker version of himself. And now that you've stepped onto this path, remember this truth. Wealth is not a matter of if. It is only a matter of when. If these words confirm what's already happening inside you, comment 8 below to mark your entry into the path of wealth, purpose, and destiny.